Hello, welcome back. I've been tagged. I was tagged by MotherOfManyHorses, and it's a 4-question, um, and the first question is really hard, as in name 3 YouTubers that have inspired you. Really? I mean, it's out of everything, all the information and stuff's out there. I mean, the first one is very easy, and that was Rick Gore with Think Like a Horse. That man is phenomenal when it comes to horsemanship and just the knowledge that he has on horses. And I've been following him for as long as I can remember, and I have implemented his mentality and horsemanship tactics with my horses, and it's worked out awesome. I mean, it's just insane of the information that man has on horses. The other two channels, excuse me, the other two channels, I've been wanting to play the guitar for as long as I can remember. Just never did have the money for an instructor. So these two other channels are guitar channels. And the first one is Andy Guitar. The second one is Eric Andreas with GuitarSage. And I've not been playing that long, but I have learned so much from those two channels and others, other guitar channels. Those are the two that I like the most. I have learned so much from those two individuals about beginner guitar. They also have, the intermediate and advanced, paid prescription or what have you. So those three channels would be the channels for inspiration. The next set of questions is, name 3 things you're good at. The first one I would have to say martial arts, self-defense would be, the reason being as, I've been training the martial arts for 20 some years. I'm a 4th degree black belt in Tamiki Aikido, a 1st degree black belt in Shinbu Aikido. While I was in the service, I trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and when I got out of the service, I picked up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Bujinkan Ninjutsu. I had my own martial arts school and survival school that I taught until I had my heart attack, and I tried to teach after that, but it just wasn't there. I mean, my health wasn't there no more. I had a heart attack back in 2012, so I closed all that down. Had a pretty successful business though. The second thing would have to be food procurement. I.e. from livestock here on the homestead, the garden, and canning. The third thing that I'm fairly decent at would be hunting and trapping. I mean, I've done that all my life. That's foothold traps, and then obviously hunting with either a bow and arrow or shotgun or rifle. So, moving on along, 3 things that excite you. Well, I'm not really an emotional type person. I don't get excited easily. I don't get depressed. I don't get sad. I'm just, I go with the flow. But I would have to say the 3 things that excite me the most. And once again, I'm going to the homestead atmosphere here. Would be when my garden takes off and starts producing fruit, when my fruit trees take off, when my livestock has a little one, because that's a potential sale, or the most recently is my new batch of chickens that I got back in March. They're right at 4.5 months old, and they're already starting to lay eggs. And that was kind of exciting. I started out with 6 leghorns, and then I got 2 weeks later I got 6 Buff Orpingtons and 6 Rhode Island Reds. Well, unfortunately, a raccoon came in and got 2 of my Reds, 2 of my Orpingtons, and 1 of my Leghorns, and both of my black French Moran hens. I let them free range, and they started. They was using the hen house at first, and then eventually they started roosting in trees. And when they started roosting in trees, is when I lost them, and that happened to me twice. When I first came here in October, I brought all my chickens over, 8 of them, 9 of them actually, including the rooster, and the coyote and the raccoon got them and cleaned me out. And as long as they was in a cage, I had no problem. It's just when I started letting them out to free range is when I started having a problem. It was shortly there. It was inside of a month, maybe 2 months. That's when they come in and clean me out. And then I was out of chickens, for out of eggs, and out of meat, chicken meat, up until March, is when the hatchery started selling their chickens again, or Tractor Supply or whatever. So anyway, I picked up 18 chicks, raised them on a hot water bottle, and set them beside of the stove. I would heat the water up to 160 to 170 degrees, put it in the hot water bottle, wrap it up with a towel, and put it down in a little 30-gallon tote. And I raised 18 chicks that way until the coon got them, or got some of them. Anyway, those would be the thing that would excite me, for the homesteading aspect. Would be the garden producing, the livestock popping a little one out, the chickens laying their eggs, or like once again, the fruit trees. The other thing would maybe striking a bargain up with somebody, as in, okay, I like to use my homestead to work for me, not just me working on my homestead, but for my homestead to work for me, as in like use something that I have in trade of something you got. And to give you an example, would be over the winter. Well, to make a long story short, we were buying 4 acres, and I'm renting 6 acres, which is, a total of 10. Once I get this 4 bought, then I'll start buying on the 6. Anyway, I'm cleaning my property off. I'm living in a camper. I don't have a need for my wood cook stove nor my heating stove, because my camper runs on propane, my refrigerator and stove. So I struck up a deal with the local propane provider. I would trade him firewood for propane. Or where I raise hogs, I would give him, and I don't eat pork, I haven't ate pork since 2012, but anyway, I would trade him a pig for X amount of propane. And, he said that for every pound of pork, he would give me 2 pounds of propane. Well, that's how we made it through the winter. Things like that excite me. Kind of exciting. And hopefully, Lord's willing, this winter, we're both alive. We're going to do the same thing. The third thing that excites me is being 100% off-grid. I've got 500 watts of solar. I got right at 400 amp hours in battery. I have a well. I have a septic tank. I got 1,200 gallon rain catchment. Have no job. It's just, it's just awesome. As in how I let my homestead work for me. Now, I'll get the questions, well, how do you pay your property taxes? How do you pay your car insurance? What do you do if you get sick? Well, or I'm a veteran, I'm disabled, that's what the VA hospital's for. But anyway, moving on along. What 4 things relax you? Now this is, like I said, I'm not really an emotional type individual. 4 things that relax me would be, first and foremost, and I've been doing this since I was a child, would be waking up before the crack of dawn, going out on the front porch or sitting here in a doorway in this situation, and waiting for the world to wake up. Meaning, waiting for the sun to just start rising over the horizon, listening and waiting for the birds to start waking up and chirping. I mean, to me, that is just so peaceful. The other 3 things of relaxing is knowing that my homestead is providing for me. After a good hard day's work or what have you, all right, I got another 1/4 acre of the land cut off. I can start seeding it, and I got a cord of wood sawed up, or something of that nature. I mean, it's just relaxing. Feels good in here. The other one is just spending time with my wife. Very simple things mean so much. I don't have to worry about the hustle and bustle of stuff. Now, outside of that, I mean, going on along, name 5 YouTubers that would answer these questions. All right, we'll get to that in a moment. Going back to the homesteading aspect, I mean, to me, and my mindset and my mentality is, there's so many people that say that they're a homestead or claim that they're a homestead, but yet they're tied to the grid. They got a 9-to-5 job. Every time you see them, they got the latest and greatest of this or that or this or that. Where's their money coming from? Because they're not selling their animals, But to me, a homestead is letting your homestead provide for you. Like I said before, I don't eat pork. I raise pigs. I sell the pigs. I trade the pigs. That's where my money goes for land property taxes, for insurance, for clothing, for the flour, sugars, salt and pepper. Want to sell some of my pears for my pear trees. Although they're not doing crap this year, so that kind of hurt my hip pocket. The eggs, that my chickens are producing now. The livestock, the horse popping a baby out, a foal or a colt. Pigs, popping their little piglets out. That's how I get my money. Produce. Just wheel and deal, bargain. But once again, to reiterate on the homestead, there's so many out there who say that they're a homestead, but at the end of the day, they really ain't. They're tied to the grid. They got to get up, go punch a clock, and to me, it would be harder to try to run a homestead that way as it would be for what its intention was. A homestead. Think of Little House on the Prairie. They had to go do things, but they let their homestead provide for them. I don't know, that may be a bad example. But for me and my homestead, everything I do, and I try to let my homestead provide for me. But outside of that, it's just so relaxing to know that I ain't got to go to work tomorrow. outside of getting up early in the morning and feeding the livestock, I ain't got to do nothing if I didn't want to. I got land I got to clear, so I know I got to do something. I got to burn brush. Jump on a little garden tractor there, hook to the trees that, my friends come over and help me clean off, drag them over to the drag pile, burn pile. I mean, it's the tortoise and hare mentality, slow and easy wins the race. I whittle at it here, whittle at it there. But outside of that, moving on along, we'll name the 5 YouTubers that would hopefully answer these questions. One of them is Travis over at Mountain Prowler. He has herbals, he does herbs, he does, Defend Your Faith ministry. Go over and check him out. The second one is Bush Girl Karen. It's got an awesome channel. Camps, fishes, gear reviews, everything, bushcraft and survival. The third one is Alan Hobbs over at Bushcraft Freedom. I'm sorry. It's Bushcraft Freedom over at Alan Hobbs there. He does kayaking, woodworking, camping trips, gear review. He's a good little channel. The fourth channel would have to be HRM Weapons Machinist. And the fifth one, I'm going to have to say Mr. Otto AK-47. Bear is the star of the show over there. I mean, he does gear reviews, camping, hiking, things of that nature. But outside of that, thank you for watching. Hope this video ain't too long. Have a great day.